Welcome back to another episode of the Heart and Soul podcast. Hi, Monique.
Hi.
I am excited today to talk about one of my favorite practices for a new year and also just in general when I'm working through something, and that's visualization. Visualization is also associated with the idea of visioning or vision boarding. And so today we're going to talk about how I use visualization and vision boarding and having a vision
Yeah.
to fulfill my manifesting practice
Okay.
and to ultimately help me achieve my goals, achieve a certain level of calm and anxiety reduction, and truly just to help put my thoughts in order. So I think that visualization and visioning can be so useful anywhere from therapeutic practice to a goal setting and achievement manifesting practice. So I am excited to talk about it with the pod today to hear
Yes.
your thoughts on how you use visualization. That's a
Yes.
hard word.
Yes.
So let's jump into the episode.
Sounds great. Let's do it.
Welcome to Heart and Soul, the podcast where we empower and inspire women to lead their best lives, harnessing the power of their hearts and souls. We are Mariah
And Monique.
your hosts and guides on this journey of self-discovery and personal growth.
In each episode, we will dive deep into topics that matter most to you, from self-love and confidence to career development, relationships, and everything in between. We believe that every woman has a unique strength and inner wisdom waiting to be unleashed.
Join us as we cover insightful heart and soul-centered topics and interview incredible women who've overcome challenges, chased their dreams, and found their true purpose. Through all of this, you will discover practical tips, strategies, and real-life stories to help you navigate life's twists and turns.
For whatever season of life you're in, this podcast is your safe space to explore, learn, grow, and possibly even laugh and cry with us. So grab your headphones, maybe your favorite drink, and we'll embark on this transformative journey together.
With heart, I'm Mariah.
And with soul, I'm Monique.
Well, I am looking forward to talking about visualization with you today, Monique. I think that it's a kind of misunderstood topic in a little bit of way or
Okay.
a little way.
Explain.
I feel like people don't, if they're not used to the practice of visualizing, and we're going to start with that first.
Yes.
It can feel a little bit daunting or almost like, what are you talking about? But I know that this is something that athletes use all of the time.
Yes.
And is
Truly successful people use visualization all the time.
It's a way to train your brain to actually help you move towards the goal. So visualization is ultimately allowing your brain to create a picture in your head, whether it's with your eyes closed, eyes open. It's just an intentionally thinking process that allows your brain to create a picture that then can allow you to feel how you would feel in that moment. And by feeling that, you prepare your body and your mind for what's to come when you actually go through that experience. So say you're an athlete, you're visualizing how you're diving off a diving board. You're
Yes.
actually visualizing and feeling your way through each turn and flip and entry into the water. For me, I use visualization when I'm about to go into a big event. So
I bet you do. You're so
will-
visual with the events, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's all about how it looks.
I'm a visual person anyways.
Yes.
Like just if I'm going to look at myself across
Yes.
the board, I really like, to be able to see something to understand it. But I will use it as a tactic when I'm preparing for a big event to almost walk myself visually through that event in my head to figure out what I'm missing, what I've forgotten, where my gaps are, how I'm going to feel in the certain areas and experiences. I did a big music festival event back in the fall of last year, and it was challenging me in ways that I wasn't used to, and it was a little bit outside of my comfort zone. So I leaned on visualization to walk myself through that day. I would literally sit, actually, it was while I was weightlifting. I would be doing the reps or the exercise, and I'd just be in my head, like walking myself through this park where the festival was happening. And I would be thinking and seeing in my mind each table, where it was placed, what was on the table. Like the most important thing about visualization like this is the specificity that you can get to. And you have to work at it. It's mental work to get there. But if you can
like detail it down,
Yes. Then I could, in that visualization, think, oh, I had missed that area completely. Okay.
What are we going to do over here? Blind spot.
File that away,
right.
As a to-do list item, come back to that. But in doing that, I could then also just feel and sense a calm come over me because I was practicing. I was allowing my mind and body to practice what I was soon going to bring into production. And that's huge in something where you can't really, we're not going to have a trial run on this.
Yes.
Right? Like it's a one shot deal. Like the same with a wedding day. Like we may have a rehearsal for a ceremony, but the whole day, like we're just going to do it.
Right.
So if there's complicated parts of it, I'm going to visualize that experience so that I can make peace and come to calm about what's actually going to happen in that event or wedding day.
I don't know if this is a good place to pause, but I would like to share how I use visualization.
Absolutely.
Or visualizing. Because I use it daily and I use it a little bit differently. Yes. But not really, right? Because you're right. It's a practice of exercising what you want beforehand so that you can be in the energy of what it is that you want. And so that when it lands in your lap, you're like, well, of course, this is exactly what I wanted because I
can already see it.
I visualize this for, depending on the item, 6 months. I visualize this for a week, right?
Yep.
Louis Vuitton handbags.
Yeah, whatever it is. Like I start picturing myself carrying the bag, start picturing myself wearing the item, start picturing myself driving the car. Like whatever it is that you're working towards manifesting, one of the most powerful ways is to begin to see it.
Yes.
To see it in your mind.
So every morning, Monday through Friday, I have my spiritual practice. As you know, I talk about this a lot. But part of it is visualization. So I say an affirmation. I say my affirmations. I have about 6 of them about varying topics. And depending on the amount of time that I have, I might choose 1 or 2. But then what I like to do for about 30 seconds is really sit with that affirmation. Let the words sink in and let the picture emerge and visualize and see and feel in my body what it would be like to have embodied that thing. And maybe I am embodying that thing, but then to actually just sit and be in the embodiment that I'm holding of that thing. And so I've always said an affirmation is like having a car. The visualization is like putting actual gas in the car. It is the missing link between being able to drive. Everybody's like, I got the car, but I don't have gas. I can't go anywhere.
I love that.
I can just look at the thing, right? Visualizing what you want is gasoline.
And what I want to make a distinction of is the difference between meditation and visualization.
Yeah, totally different.
Right? Meditation is like the absence of focus and thinking, right? It's allowing your brain to just expand and
and maybe even purge thoughts, whatever.
Right, you're not necessarily flooding it with trying to focus in on something.
Right.
I mean, visualization is actually creating an image in your mind. Again, I can do this whether my eyes are closed or open, but some people really need to close their eyes and focus to see it. Where you're recreating and rebuilding what you know of the world into what you want it to be, or what like you're actually there. And so I think that's a distinction. And so a lot of times in a daily practice, people do both. They'll meditate, they'll clear their mind, and then they'll visualize to dial in on a specificity of what.
It's like a visual prayer, if you will, right? Like praying is asking for what you want, and like this is actually visually praying for what.
And
seeing
certainly
it.
For people that are very visually motivated,
which I am as well. Yes,
it is truly the way to see what you're going towards. And then I take that practice and I use it in my daily life as well, from creating vision boards that I share with my clients about what their wedding might look like.
Oh, I love that.
Creating, visuals, drawings, maps of, layouts, things like that. It's all these pieces that allow us to see how we're going to get to the goal. And that's where it's really useful in goal setting. Now, as a therapeutic practice, visualization is used to help people walk themselves through situations. Maybe it's something that was a past trauma, to visualize and to reprogram the brain to let go of a feeling or to better understand what happened. Like, there's a lot of ways that therapists will use visualization as a tool, which I think is really fascinating, of just how powerful of a tool this is. It can help people with trauma.
That's a really good point. Yes.
And that it's used, widely like that. And then also to use it on the other side of goal setting. So it can be used to look back and to look forward. And to just visualize yourself right where you are,
Right.
to be able to see the world around you for where you are exactly,
Love
at
it.
any point in time.
Yes.
So for anybody listening, I want you to take away from this episode that this is a tool. The visualization is a tool that can allow you to start to either heal wounds or go towards goals. But if you if it's intriguing to you, it's certainly something that you could talk to a therapist or a coach about, of how you could mold it into what your specific needs are. But it's literally a simple practice that costs you nothing but a little bit of time. It's just to sit with and allow into your brain a visual representation.
And it's interesting, just to kind of piggyback off of that, how I think so this requires imagination. Our current state,
creativity.
Yes, our current state of being is an expression of our thoughts and our visions of the past. So in the past, we had thoughts and ideas about creating a podcast.
Yeah.
And here we are in the reality of now.
Yep.
That is our past coming to full present.
Yep.
So if you think about a vision as, how do I want my future to look? How do I want my future to feel, like the athlete?
Yep.
How do I want this race to go? And they, second by second, moment by moment, movement by movement, run through the scenarios. The body is like, that's how I do the thing.
It programs
It's the
you.
same.
It gives you a map and a program to carry it out.
Yes.
And it literally rests within your body. Your mind allows that. Your muscles and your bones and all of your body.
It's like, here's my directive.
Can have direction. It's
So,
very powerful and
very powerful.
Underused.
Yes, but it's how we create our future, and we are creating our future regardless.
Right.
So let's take our futures into our hands and create the one we want. And this is the tool.
Because choosing to just sit with what is and choosing to just only picture the past isn't going to create the future that you, maybe want or aspire to. So I really encourage people to just allow themselves to dream, to be creative,
imagine,
and to paint pictures of worlds in their heads. It's why it's so important for children to have play and creativity and learn to visualize, because this is a skill that's going to give them a tool later in life that I think is just underappreciated in education and in society today.
Yes.
So now that's kind of, a woo-woo thought around visualizing within yourself, within your own head. But for me, being visual, I like to have something that I can really see physically manifestation.
Yeah, like the reminder of what you want.
Exactly. And so that would be a vision board. And we hear a lot of people talk about creating a vision board.
Yes.
It's a fun practice. I enjoy it.
And we've been doing this for years.
Collecting images of things that we desire. So the traditional idea of vision boarding is get a bunch of magazines, clip out, quotes and pictures and put them on a piece of paper. We've done vision boards with our groups, our mastermind groups that are pocket vision boards, which I really love, like just really small ones that have, different topics. So we'll put like 5 or 6 of them together, family, health, travel, whatever
the thing is. Yeah.
I have a collection of those that I look at all the time, and
I
it just
love
make me so happy. But I've really leaned into the practice of creating a virtual or a Canva vision board.
I still
essentially.
haven't seen yours. I want to
Well, I'll
see it.
show it to you today. Where at the beginning of the year, I'll sit down with my word of the year, which we talked about in the previous episode, as the center point, and then I'll build around it my vision board for the year. What's really important, and I've come to realize, is the specificity is directly related to the speed and ease of effort in achieving the vision.
Wow.
So the more specific you can get about exactly what you want,
Yes.
and the more information you can know about exactly what it is, what it costs, what it requires, the faster you can make it happen. And so what I realized in doing the virtual vision boarding is that I can find the specificity of the imagery or the specificity of
so
the
much
want.
easier. Yes. Online.
Between Pinterest, Google Images, like I can dial that in. And I've been actually doing this for years with my clients. Like that is how I design their weddings.
Funny.
I create a vision board
You're
for
just
them
like, didn't even
from
know.
searching for very specific things. So like that skill of like, I know exactly what I'm looking for and finding it. I applied that to my life. And throughout the year, I'll kind of collect things in my head that I'm like, oh, that would be a great next vision board item to put on there. My husband and I sat down at the end of the year and we made lists of like what we each desired for the next year. And because I explained to him, if we don't know what it is, we're not going to get it.
Yes.
But the more specific we get about what it is and what we want, the faster that it will happen or the universe will align to give us what we need to make it happen. And so I have now had my teams in my businesses. They all create vision boards for themselves personally and for the business that they manage.
Okay.
And then I create an overarching one that takes them into account because what they're visualizing to manifest, I need to be working on that as well.
Oh, yes.
So when I see it on their board, now I can think, okay, how can I understand, like, how can I help them make that happen? And so as a business owner, if anybody's listening, using this practice, like as a business, in conjunction with goal setting and metric setting and all of that, this visual gives the team something to really coalesce around that is also is joyful, right? It's more joyful to look at a beautiful vision board than it is a spreadsheet in my mind, for me. Some people find spreadsheets really sexy. So then we take these vision boards, we post them on our wall in our offices, and throughout the year, it's really fun to reflect as a group on like, oh my God, we did that.
Yes.
Last year, I pulled out the vision board and I went, within 2 weeks of creating this, I had already knocked 3 things out.
Wow.
Now, some of it had made it on there because I knew it was likely to be coming,
smart
right?
goals.
But other things later we saw happened, I didn't even know why. So you also have to be just a little bit intuitively led in selecting things. Like if you feel really compelled to put a photo on that board, you're not exactly sure why, still do it.
Right.
There's got to be some things that you don't understand. They're going to be on there. And then later when you look back, you're like, oh, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that really was. Or we were laughing about, well, we manifested this instead, but that makes more sense because this is the picture that was on the board. So it's the visual tool for manifesting what you want or what you desire. And I think it just brings a level of accomplishment that you've met goals, joy. Why not? It's, again, costs nothing to do. Make a little collage of images that inspire you and are driving towards some specificity in your goals. What's the worst that could happen? What's the best that could happen?
Yeah, no kidding.
And if something doesn't make it off the board, that's your chance whenever you revisit. And I usually revisit it every 6 months. If something's not moving, ask myself, well, maybe it isn't really what I want. Or maybe I need to get more specific.
Does it still align
with
me?
It,
yeah.
And then tweak. And then from there, okay, next, like, knock it off. Or maybe it's just going to take a little more time. So there were a couple things from last year's board that I I carried through, or I changed the specificity around it because I realized like I want that, but like what I really want is like this more dialed in version of that. And now I can see it happening
Now it's like
fast.
super purposeful. And so it's interesting. I use vision boards a lot. We do in the masterminds. We use, like you said, the pocket vision boards. But I use them whenever I host retreats because I do yoga and meditation and spiritual retreats. And I always do a vision board because I think it's really important when you show up, you're kind of like in this self-discovery phase. Like, I don't even know what I need, or maybe I know what I need to leave some stress behind. So we go through this whole writing and burning where we're releasing parts of ourselves or issues or things in our lives that are holding us back. Then it's kind of a way to like, I get to create I get to be a new person. What do I want to call in? So like, let's visually put that. And I don't necessarily bring magazines and do cutouts or even do it digitally. We just do a whiteboard and we marker either words, little stick figures, images, whatever the thing. It can. So yes, it can be a Canva board, a digital board. It can be a magazine cutting out. It can be these little pocket vision boards. It can just be a piece of paper where you marker or you write things. So you get this vision board. What do you do with it? So what do you do with your vision board?
Well, I have one that I created in our first mastermind group, so 6 years ago, that really spoke to me. You know, I think just it's like it's aesthetically something I love to look at, and it had very high-reaching goals and life themes. I think I was at a place where I was really big picture.
Yes.
And it's in the back of my medicine cabinet.
Oh, I love
every day when I open my medicine cabinet, I see it. And I think to myself, it's all still what I want. It's all still
so relevant.
Yes. So I love that one. I feel like it's not one that I am crossing off like check, because it's not super specific.
So it's kind of like a big picture.
It's a big picture. It's a feeling.
Like I want to travel so there's beaches.
Oh, yeah.
Or I want like
there's some beautiful blue water.
Yeah.
A lot of pink peonies.
Right.
You know,
right.
Just like things that I love, and it inspires me daily. Then annually when I make the digital board, I set it as the home screen of my laptop. So every time I open my laptop or start it up, it's there.
There, you see it.
I have also set it as my phone screen
Ooh,
backdrop.
I love that.
At times. I need to still do that for this year. And then I print out a physical copy of it. I have it on my bulletin board in my office.
Nice.
And again, I usually do a personal one and a work one so that I can be specific in those two cases. And then I share it with my family too. I'll have it, have a copy at home as well, something that I can look back on. Those that I cut out of magazines in the past, I have them in with my books and journals and things like that. And every once in a while, I'll just take a gander at it. And it's just so inspirational, especially looking back and to think of like, I somehow knew that was coming, like something was coming, but I didn't even know how it was going to happen. And then the joy of like what that journey looked like to get it.
I love that.
For instance, my sister had put on her vision board 2 years ago a volcano.
Interesting.
And she didn't really know why.
Right.
Well, like 6 months later, we went to Iceland.
Oh my gosh.
And we did a helicopter tour over a volcano.
Oh my gosh.
Like she didn't even know what that was, but there was something about that was speaking to her. It went on the vision board and it manifested itself.
It happened.
Out.
That happened.
So it's a beautiful, creative project process because it is ongoing that I encourage people to spend some time with.
Yes.
Have fun with it in whatever way works for you. And I mean, if it's the magazines, if it's the stick figures, if you love Pinterest and Canva and creating things digitally, like whatever the medium is, it's all valuable.
So for me, the little ones that I create at our retreats, I like frame it and put it on a wall in my closet. So when I'm getting ready in the morning, picking out my clothes, putting on my makeup, I'm always looking at the thing. And then because it's in a frame, every time I update it or make a new one, I just take that out.
Layer it in.
Take it out.
Take it out. Okay.
Put a new one in. Or I suppose I could layer it.
Yeah.
But then that also encourages me to make it look a little better. Maybe just stick figures will make it look a little arty. But also by the bed table, I've got the pocket ones that we create. And the nice thing about the pocket ones is If it doesn't align with you anymore, you throw that page out
Yep.
and you make a new page, right? And enter it in. So there are many, many ways, but it's the visual reminder to keep you focused on your goals, dreams, aspirations.
It's a saying it out loud.
Yes.
It's,
It's outing yourself.
outing yourself in the world as to what you desire and leaning into that, making that known. And I think that as a practice, we should be doing this with children at an early age and, letting that creatively flow. We should be doing this with our parents about what's on their bucket list. We should be doing this with our spouse about what are things that we want to accomplish or achieve together.
I love that.
Some of it on our list is like house projects and others are trips we want to take. But the more we can hone in on what it is, the faster we're going to get to that experience or that opportunity. So I really believe in this as a practice, both the just mental visioning and doing that visualization exercises within your mind and that physical manifestation of the vision boarding. If you're combining those two, wow, things are going to be looking good. Just try to stop you from manifesting. Just try to stop your dreams from coming true. Let me tell you, it happens fast.
So I don't know about our podcast listeners, but I feel like I just got like a master class in vision and vision boarding. So I just wanted to say thank you for sharing, because I feel like you are a master and have mastery around this process because you've honed it and you utilize it and you keep working and refining it every single year.
Absolutely. And I've truly been doing it for years as my work and helping people carry out a vision for their wedding day or their event day. And then realizing that you can apply that to your whole life.
Wait, that's easy.
Wow. Keys unlocking the next level or the door to the next level. So powerful. And I can't help but want to share that with anybody because it is so simple, so easy, costs you nothing, and can have absolutely dramatic results. So as you start this new year, and again, you don't have to be confined to the new year to do this. Anytime you decide that you're ready to do a visualization exercise or create a vision board is the right time.
So I want to challenge our listeners and even ourselves. I am curious if people are comfortable sharing on our socials or on any platform where this is visual, where there's a visual way to access us, pictures or snapshots of their vision boards. And also I really like if people are stuck to reach out to us because this is what we do. We want to help people through the process, but I just love to see what other people
I would be willing
dreams
to
and
share
hopes
my
are.
vision board.
I would be too.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, don't judge the stick figures.
Well, it'll be a good example of how
basic
they
it
can
can
look,
be.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd be willing to share my vision board. I think I'm proud of all of it. I plan on all of it happening. So
yeah, I just honestly think it would be great for our listeners too to share and to just be in this collective and really I think sharing is caring. You know me, I'm all about the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and if I'm not willing to say it out loud,
well, how's it going to happen for you?
It's going to happen even faster if I'm willing to share it and say it out loud. So I'm not. It should never be things you're ashamed of. And quick caveat: many people feel ashamed of desiring things.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, we could do a whole episode on this,
and maybe we should.
And I recently encountered that with a group of women who felt ashamed at the things they were able to do, the things they were able to buy,
accomplish
based on their success, whether it's the handbag they carry, the car they drive, the trip they took. These are 3 fantastic examples. And I've been there too. I've sat in that place and I've worked my way to claim my success and say, however I choose to visually represent my success, be it in my handbag, my car, my trips, whatever it is, I need to own that.
Yes.
I need to own that. That's a choice that I made. And people make all kinds of different choices about how they use their wealth.
Yes.
But for me, if not to use it, what's the point?
Mhm.
If not to
Enjoy it.
enjoy it, what's the point? I work too hard.
Yes.
Everybody works too hard to not enjoy
Yes.
the
And
things that bring them joy.
Just to summarize that, one of the cornerstones of, and this is one of the reasons I love you so much, but there's so many. But one of the cornerstones of who you are as a person is celebration.
True.
So if you were not using the energy that you created in a way of celebration, which is sharing it with others
Yeah.
and showing your efforts, then it wouldn't really be true to who you are.
Right.
So it's really just a version of celebrating, isn't it?
It really is. And I think
Yes.
what I would encourage people as kind of a parting thought on this episode is to dream big. To
Oh my
dream
gosh, yes.
bigger than you like,
Imagine big.
put it all on
yes.
there. Like go big,
Yes.
especially when you first start visioning and vision boarding.
So you don't make
Do
your
that
goal
high level.
Yeah.
Like if you can't get specific, just what are colors that you like that you want to spend more time around? For me, it was blue water, right? Like I wanted to manifest more time in Caribbean blue water.
Yes.
And then that's happened, right? So like, don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed, because I think shame is the word here, to want something more.
Mm-hmm.
I've always known that was the path, is to just, the more you desire something more, the more likely it will come to you, and you deserve all of it. So I'm telling you, if you're listening, you deserve all of your wildest dreams to come true, and there is no reason that they can't. So start putting that on paper,
And in
start
your mind,
seeing it in your mind,
yeah.
and share with us what has come true as a result of your visualization.
Oh my gosh, yes. Please
I
share.
would love, like, nothing lights me up than sharing these stories, and I'm passionate about telling them. I will tell all kinds of wild, audacious stories about things that have happened, because I want people to see through me that it's real and it can happen to them too.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the masterclass in vision and vision boarding.
Yes.
To our listeners, please reach out. If you get stuck or need help, please share. If you're comfortable, pictures of your vision board. You could even hashtag Heart and Soul Master or Heart and Soul Podcast, excuse me. We love hearing from you. And yeah, I thank you again for sharing all your wealth of knowledge. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
Yes.
Cheers, friends. You've just finished another episode of the Heart and Soul Podcast. We hope that you've enjoyed the show, and if you've loved it, we would love if you'd leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening. You can find links to leave that review in the show notes, where you'll also find other resources that we reference on our show. And if you think a friend could find value in today's episode or any future episodes, please share this episode with them on social media. This is one of the only ways the podcast can organically grow, and we just can't wait to connect with you and all of your besties. You can also find Monique and I on our many social media platforms or our websites, and we're going to leave links to those in the show notes as well. Thank you for listening. We look forward to sharing our hearts and souls with you again next time. With Heart, I'm Mariah.
And with Soul, I'm Monique.